Mindset in your business. It's really such an important part of the business. But we as investors tend to like to talk about the technical aspects, how to do this, how to do that. But mindset in abundance, in money, it's all very important. And I find that oftentimes it's an overlooked part of what you need to know as an investor, as anybody. So, mindset is what we're talking about today on the Sub2Deals show. Hey, Sub2ers, welcome to this episode of the Sub2Deals show where we talk about all things subject to. Now, occasionally we will talk about other topics, but it is always something that'll help you with your real estate investing business. First off, I'm going to ask you, if you haven't yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We deliver tons of content. We're pretty much a new video every day over there to help you with your real estate investing business. And we would love it if you would subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell so you'll know every time we release a new video. And if you're thinking about getting started in real estate investing, we would like to invite you to join a group with the most affordable and the absolute best creative finance training you'll find anywhere at $7coaching.com. $7 a month. Can you beat that? I'll ask you your questions personally, and it's got forms and all kinds of training in there to teach you how to get those deeds and buy some houses. So check us out at $7coaching.com. Guys, today we're going to talk about mindset and money mindset and abundance and all of those things that are so important in your business and just in life in general. And a lot of times they're overlooked. And I had the pleasure of being on a podcast a couple of months ago with someone. She was absolutely phenomenal, and I wanted to bring her on today to talk to you guys. So, Gull, welcome to the Sub2Deals show.
Thank you, William, for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Wonderful. Gull is, reading her bio, a best-selling author, international speaker, podcaster, phenomenal podcast, guys. Go over and check it out. An attorney, life coach, money mindset expert, and a mom. Man, you've done a lot of stuff.
I
have. You stay busy. For sure.
Yeah, I think the biggest achievement I have to say is being a mother. I think that's the hardest job and probably the most rewarding.
I hear you. Hey, listen, belated Happy Mother's Day. Do you guys celebrate that over in England? I guess you do.
We do, but and unlike the rest of the world, we have Mother's Day back in March in UK. So really? it wasn't our Mother's Day here in UK. Everywhere else in Canada and America, but not here in the UK. We already had it in March.
I got you. Okay. Well, second Happy Mother's Day then.
So, thank you.
A couple of months earlier. That's a little bit strange, but oh well.
We're UK.
There you go.
We're always different.
There you go. So tell us about you, Gull. Tell us, because man, you can do a better job at this than I can do. Tell us all about you and how you got to be a money mindset coach.
Oh, that's a loaded question. How long have we got? All right, let me try and put this as succinctly as I can. So for those of you who don't know, I am a money mindset expert. I help entrepreneurs to break free from their limiting beliefs, reverse their money shame, and to blast through money blocks so that they can live a life of unlimited abundance. And as a money mindset expert, I use what I call energy tools to help you heal your old traumas. And I've been doing this professionally now for the last 5 years. And how did I land into this? Well, I didn't wake up one day and decide, I'm going to be a money mindset expert. It just, my life went through these trials and tribulations, and it landed me where I am. In short, why am I so fascinated with my money? I've always have been. So I grew up in a council estate in East London, which is I suppose like a ghetto. You guys are familiar with like maybe like a ghetto area in US. So it's a really rundown, not a
Right.
nice place to grow up. And I'm dyslexic as well. I'm severely dyslexic. So I was a dyslexic student in a place like that. And I actually do come from money. So my father is would be a billionaire in today's standard, right? In today's day and age. But my mother and father separated when my father remarried, and my mother left my father, and my father pulled the financial card and refused to pay even child maintenance unless
Right.
she came back, because he wanted to have multiple wives, as Muslims you can. So I grew up with the idea that I was going to show my father, and the only way I knew how about making money was by educating myself. So that's why I studied really hard. That led me on to getting all through my grades and so forth, and going on to university and going to University of London, so one of the top universities in the world, to get my law degree and then becoming an international banking finance lawyer. Now, my life has had its ups and downs, including losing my mother at 21 and then having not one, but two abusive marriages. And throughout my journey, what I was learning, I was picking up skill sets. So my second marriage, when during my second marriage, one of the conditions that my husband at the time put was he wanted me to stay at home. He didn't want me to go out and work. And I agreed to it because my first marriage had, when I was a main breadwinner, that husband was physically abusive. So I thought, okay, let me sit back, because maybe I'm taking away the masculinity from my husband by working and whatever else, because I come from the Indian subcontinent culture. Anyway, long story short, I agreed. And during that time when I was home, I studied a lot of energy medicine. I've been doing personal development since the age of 19, since I found I'm dyslexic, by the way. But actually, what I do at the moment, this very moment, which is combining energy with mindset work, that's when I began to train up as an energy healer. I did, initially it was Reiki, Reiki 1, Reiki 2, Master Reiki, emotion freedom technique. I learned that, intuitive life healing, energy medicine. I learned all these modalities thinking I'm going to work on myself. Nowhere in my mind did I ever think I was going to work as a professional, as an energy healer. It wasn't on the radar. I was going to go back to being a lawyer. Kids were going to be older, and I was going to go and have open my own law firm. That was the idea. Right. It's when I got divorced from my second husband. Again, he was actually far worse. He's a narcissistic abuser. I found my whole personality had shattered, and I was under a lot of trauma. And it's healing those traumas that led me to the awareness how powerful I am, because I was able to heal other people as well as myself. Also, how these traumas impact your ability to make money. So just a quick synopsis of my life. I grew up in a council estate, became an international banking finance lawyer, became a self-made millionaire at the age of 27. And then went through divorce and went back into, and by the time I got divorced second time around, I was on welfare. So I had this whole roller coaster journey. And while trying to come out the other end, especially this one point when I remember this time, and I remember it so clearly, William, I was sitting at my dining table, and I was going through a second divorce, and my husband at the time had pulled the financial card, so I couldn't have any money from him. I was seeing, because I was a property multimillionaire, because of my property and the equity in the property, the government would not give me anything because I'm seen to be wealthy. Right. But because I'm going through a divorce, I don't have access to the property either. I can't touch it. Keep that in mind, right? So I had no recourses to my own assets. I wasn't allowed any support from the government, and my ex was not paying me, and I had nothing, absolutely nothing left. And I remember sitting on my dining table with all I had was we get child benefit here in the UK. And I had child benefit coming to me, which was £137.14 coming to me every 4 weeks. That's the only money that I had coming to me. That is when I sat down, and I pretty much from that moment, I turned my life around. And that's actually one of my most powerful strategies came into being, which is cash flow mastery. 3 steps to cash flow mastery was born then. So nothing I teach is just learn from books. Of course, I've learned from books, and I stand on the shoulders of giants. But a lot of the things that I'm teaching, especially energy tools, I've used myself. And because I became so proficient at doing this for myself, and I have this knack of helping other people, I made it my life mission to make sure that every person who I can help them change their relationship with money, irrespective of whether they're man or a woman. But my end goal is, my ultimate goal is to be able to impart this knowledge onto the new generation, especially women, because I find that it's women, especially young girls, who are, who are the brunt end of such abuse of, from the husbands, from the fathers, from the brothers, from the patriarchy, society. And if we can empower them with their mindset, so they can have I'm not looking to make millionaires of these girls. I'm looking for them to have a dignified life, so
Right.
that they can respect themselves and they can get people to respect them. And that's my ultimate goal.
Right.
That's where I want to be. But money became my focus. So that's a long, short answer as giving you as to why I became so passionate in teaching people how to
Right.
change their relationship with money. And I became money mindset expert.
Right. I got you. Okay. Well, man, that's an incredible story for sure. But, we see that stuff over and over and over. And you and I had this discussion when I was on your podcast about it's all an amazing part of it. Yeah. There's some element of skill or right place, right time, but so much of it is just right here,
I don't believe there is such thing as right place at right time. You are at the right place at the right time when you are meant to be, because your energy is lined up. So
Right.
you attract things to you. And this is where the greater law of attraction comes into place.
Mm-hmm.
People think law of attraction, I don't know if it exists, or if it exists, it doesn't work for me. Well, let me bring a news flash. Law of attraction is working all the time. It never stops. So things are being brought into your awareness and brought to you, whether you like them or not, depending on whatever energy you're on, whatever you're thinking, feeling at that moment in time. So this idea that we can have the best strategy in the world, that works. But like you just said, being at the right place at the right time, that's not luck. You make your own luck. You pull these things to you, and all these serendipitous moments. You meet the right person who leads you on to Jack, who leads you on to Susan, who ends up buying your house hasn't sold for 3 years. That's not coincidence,
Right.
but it's your energy which attracts these people, and that leads you down a path that you need to walk down in order to create your life that you're dreaming. Does that make sense?
Right. Oh, yeah, sure it does. I know from time to time I send out just a question to my list, and it may be something like the one I sent this week was, if there were one thing I could do for you this week to help you in your business, what would it be? And you get amazing responses from people. A few months ago, I sent out one that said, "What's stopping you from doing your first deal?" And I was shocked at the number of people. Now, generally you'll get answers like, "Well, if I knew how to do the paperwork, if I knew how to find sellers, if I knew what to look for." But I'm guessing at least a third of the responses were things like, "I don't feel like I deserve to make all of this money. And, I don't feel like it's in the cards for me to be wealthy," and things like that. And that's all just mindset things you've been programmed to feel like you're not worthy. So how do you change your energy or your relationship with money, or that self-thinking that you're just not worthy of those things? What do you do about that?
That's a great question. And this we can do a whole 2-day or 3-day or 5-day seminar on how do we change our energy. But let's unpack this. First of all, you have to identify what ideas are leading down to lack of self-worth. So in my mastermind, we unpack this over a period of 12 months. A lot of this happens in the first part, which is the earliest mind paradigm. You are not you're not walking around with your own beliefs. You have to understand you're walking around with beliefs that were programmed into you between the ages of 0 to 7. So let's unpack a bit further. You are not taking action. You are a creature of habit. The way you talk, the way you walk, the way you dress, the way you eat, it's habits. We don't think about it. We just do it. The way we drive a car, the way we put our shoes on, the shoe we first put on, the way we put our clothes on, the way we even take a bath or a shower. We're a creature of habits. And these habits make who we are. We think we're thinking, but we're not. Okay, we're on autopilot 95% of the time. Now, take it back further. This also means that your thoughts that you are thinking normally, those are not your thoughts. Those are just, literally, it's almost like having remember the old tape recorders? It's just having those tape recorders. Those tapes are playing in the background on auto, like again and on a loop. Okay, those tape recorders, as I call them, they were given to you and plugged into you by your parents. Now, keep in mind, they did not do this intentionally. They were given their own tape recorders by their parents. Okay.
Right.
So this is the programming that you have. Now, if your parents didn't feel they're worthy, you will not feel you're worthy. That's first part. Now add to this another layer. We are in a society where if you pick up any book, any romantic novel or any of these bestsellers, or even as a child when you pick up a book by Roald Dahl, like Matilda or any of these things, or if you watch. I remember Gulliver's. Remember when you were little, we watched Gulliver's Island or whatever. Remember that?
Right. Gulliver's Travels. Yeah.
That one as well. There's no which one is that one where they were stranded on
That's Gilligan's Island. Yeah.
Gilligan's Island. That's the one I was talking about.
The 3-hour tour.
Yeah. So basically all of this stuff, right? In all of these scenarios, books, schooling and your TV shows, even now media and TV and movie shows, who is the evil person? The one with the money.
That's right.
The evil one is always the one with money. He's greedy, they're arrogant, they're selfish, and they're the ones who are out to destroy the world. So what kind of image do we have of people who have lots of money? They're evil. So it's easier for me to say, I don't feel good enough for money. The point is, we don't think money is good enough for us. We don't like money. And it's so deep because our conscious mind cannot comprehend this. Our conscious mind's like, why wouldn't I like money? Money is great. Money means I can have a nice car. I can have a nice holiday. I can have freedom. But your subconscious mind saying, no, I am a good human being. If I have money, I'm going to become evil. If I have money, I'm going to go and destroy the world. If I have money, people will hate me. If I have money, I'm going to be lonely. If I have money, and especially if you're religious, God forbid if you're religious, if I have money, I'm going to become a sinner. God is not going to love me. There's a thing in the New Testament. It's easier for a camel to go through a needle's eye than it is for a rich person to go into heaven. Right. Similar goes for us as well in Muslims. The first people to enter Jannah will be the ones who are very poor. Like, why? Like, shouldn't it be on bad deeds rather than being wealthy or whatever? Do you see what I mean? So this ideology we've been fed through is children. Okay, keep in mind, as children, as we're developing as children, we are given these blinkers. Okay, we don't even know these are blinkers, and these blinkers are your paradigms, as I call them, your earliest mind paradigm. Right. So if you're walking around the world thinking this is the world, not realizing that your peripheral vision is all the way around you, all you see is this. And then we remember our brains are geared to see what we think we want to see. So if we believe money corrupts people, we will get visual evidence of that. We'll find evidence of that around us, like money corrupts people. Money corrupts people. We'll find evidence for it. So if we have all these ideas about money, and at the same time we think, oh, Elon Musk is so amazing, Jeff Bezos is so amazing, they're so smart. I'm not that dumb. I'm not that intelligent. I'm not that smart. Who the hell am I to make billions like them? I can't do it. Hold them up. Can you see there's so many layers? It's not just the fact that you think you're not worthy. You have this love-hate relationship with money, and then you have these ideas that you are not worthy because of your education, your background, your appearance, your color, your race, whatever have you. We have all these chips on our shoulders. Couple them together, one layer after the other. Can you see now? You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you have all this trauma, all these blocks, as I call them, holding you back, how are you going to move forward? So these people then start procrastinating. And when you procrastinate, it's difficult to say, well, I don't know why I'm not taking action. I just don't. You justify your actions. Right. As people, we don't take logical actions. We take actions based on our emotions, and then we use logic to justify them. So, you know what? I don't think I'm worthy of money. You know what? I don't think I have the time. I don't think I'm going to. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Right. You make excuses because of the feelings that you have deep down inside. You're not conscious of them. You find another way to not take action.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's why I say there's no such thing as procrastination. It just means and I'm going to go a bit further with that. When people say they're procrastinating, I say to them, that's not you not taking action. That's your subconscious mind protecting you from taking action, which it thinks is going to cause harm to you. If your subconscious mind is of the opinion, if William makes money, William would not find love anymore. William's wife will leave. William's children will leave. William's partner will go against him. Lots of jealousy would be created against him. William's going to fall ill. Have you ever heard the thing, you can't have your cake and eat it? Which is I find really silly, really silly thing. If I want to have cake, of course I want to eat it. What's the point of having cake otherwise? I'm not going to
That's
smash
right.
it across my face, am I? If I have my cake, I need to eat it, right? But the idea is, oh, well, you can't have everything. If you have wealth, then you can't have health. If you have health, you can't have love. You can see what I mean?
Right.
The idea that we can have abundance in our relationships, in our finances, and in our health is a relatively new concept. Most people believe you can have one or the other.
Right.
Right. And that's why you know what? I really don't want people to reject me. I don't want my wife to leave me. I'd rather hold myself back. Of course, your conscious mind is not aware of this. It's just your subconscious mind thinking, let me protect William. It's going to be more painful for William if his friends or his wife leaves rather than him not having money. It's okay. He'll do fine. It's okay. We're okay. We're not starving yet.
Yeah. You're absolutely right about that perception about rich people. In fact, looking back at how we teach our investors, we talk about protecting ourselves with documents, disclosures, things, because and this is an example I've used many times, if you find yourself in front of a judge, the judge already has a preconceived notion that you're the greedy homeowner, or you're the greedy landlord, or you're whatever. So you have to protect yourself from being in that situation if a tenant sues you, or you have to go to eviction court or anything like that. So
across everywhere. I mean, I remember because I'm a property developer too. One of my properties, the tenant left early, and the agent asked me, "Can they?" I said, "Well, as long as we get a new tenant in, it's fine." And it took 3 months to get a new tenant in, but the tenant left, and I held on to their deposit, and I asked them for the 2 months rent. And they took me to court, and the judge cited with them that they already gave notice to the agent, but I never agreed. And the agent had no writing, so but the tenant got off for free because I was perceived to be this wealthy, greedy landlord going after a pure tenant, whereas they're in a contract.
Right.
Right. So it's and I knew that the judge was wrong, but I didn't bother pursuing it further. It just wasn't worth my time. But it was ridiculous that that I even the deposit. So they even got the deposit back.
Right.
Because the perception is wealthy people are evil and they're greedy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's another thing that we talk about from time to time, especially there's a lot of, and you guys, I'm sure, follow politics, especially in the US right now with, housing is a basic human right. And, a lot of talk about rent control across the country and a lot of other things like that, because somehow people have it in their mind that if you're a property owner, you're wealthy and you shouldn't be wealthy. You should distribute that wealth to everyone else. When you're the person that went out, took the risk, gambled with your savings and whatever to try to create generational wealth.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, this I find fascinating. Okay, I was having this discussion with one of my cousins the other day. How there's a talk how if all the richest people in the world, like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, if they gave 1 million each to every individual, how nobody would be poor anymore. And I said, yeah, they can give it, but the fact that people who take the million, would they be able to keep it? And the answer is categorically no. If you're not ready for money, if you don't have the right mindset about money, you will get rid of money very quickly. And we have example of that already. Look at the number of lottery winners, right? Statistics proves that 95, I think it was 90 to 95% of all lottery winners across all globe, basically. It doesn't matter which country they're in. It doesn't matter what race, how much they've won. Okay, it's 90 to 95%. That's quite amazing amount. Okay, those people have lost all the money, and 80% of these people, okay, within 5 years, by the way, they've lost all of the money within 5 years, and 80% of these individuals who actually lose the money are either in the exact same place or most likely worse off. So they're actually going a few steps back. So if your mindset, or as I say, energy around money is not correct, it doesn't matter if you get $1 million, you're going to lose it. So what will happen is those Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk will start creating other solutions that your money will go right back into their pockets because they found solutions to other problems that you have, and you are not creating solutions for other people's problems. You're too busy whining about the fact that you don't have money, and you get rid of the money you already have. And this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying poor people are lazy. I'm saying people need to change their energy around money and then focus on, okay, instead of focusing on money, What problem can I solve? How can I provide a solution to someone's problem? And housing is a major one. And this is why being in the property market is amazing. There are so many people who cannot afford housing. I remember the deals you were telling me about. The tenant who comes in, they're not able to get a mortgage for whatever reason. So they
Right.
are in your property for 2 years, and then they are able to get a mortgage, and then they can buy the property which they want in the first place. That's an amazing solution. That's a win-win situation for both people.
Right.
That's what you should be focusing on, not how much money you make from these people, because money becomes a byproduct and will come to you anyway. But
Right.
unfortunately, this is how entrepreneurs think. The average person, William, does not think like that. They think, oh, okay, money, how can I get it? And this is why some people play the lottery, some people gamble. Have you seen the number of gambling places? And if you notice, there are more gambling places in poor districts than there are in wealthy ones.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Why? Because they want a quick buck, right? And they're not realizing the time and effort they are wasting on trying to get a quick buck. They can actually put the mind into action. Focus on if their energies are fixed around money, they can find a great idea which they can execute and make probably 100 times that much.
Right. That's for sure. I know. And that's one thing that we try to teach our students is to, a lot of times, a lot of the people, the sellers we interact with have some type of distress. That's why they're willing to sell to us at a discount. And it may be a divorce, a job loss, foreclosure, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But we try to encourage our students to first always approach these people. And the term we use is a heart to help. How can I help you? And structure a deal that will make your life better, take away this problem, allow us to make a profit. It works for everybody. Then we can sell that house to someone who can't buy from the bank, and in a couple of years they can. So it works for everybody that way.
Yeah, I think this is what I loved when you were talking when you described that scenario on my pod on Money Mindset with me, because I think this is the right approach. This will create abundance for you and for your clients and for whoever wherever they're going. The approach should always be, how can I help you? What can I do for you? And it's that giving nature, because keep this in mind, gratitude and giving plays a big role in all religions. Right. And the reason why this is so important is because the hand that gives can never be the one that begs. That's a saying that we have in our culture. If your hand is giving, it's never going to be begging. Right. So if you come from the approach, okay, how can I help you? When you are giving and you're giving unconditionally without thinking, okay, how can I get out of this deal? What can this seller do for me? And what can I, what's the amount of money I can make? If you have that energy, you're coming from a different mindset. If you come to the seller and think, okay, this seller's in distress. What can I do? How can I help them? If it coming and create a situation which gives you win-win to both sides, that I'm not negating that, but you come from the angle, how can I help the seller? What this does is, with the universe, it creates a debt. When you do something good for someone else unconditionally, it creates a karmic debt in your favor that the universe has to go and pay. Now, you're not expecting the universe to pay. You're not asking the universe to pay, but the universe will. That's the law, right? So if you do good to others, that seller may not reciprocate that good for you, or may not be able to do it for you. What you'll find is somebody else from another place brings an opportunity which 10x is that whatever you just done for the seller. Does it make sense?
Absolutely.
This is how the universe works. You are creating karmic debt in your favor without the expectation or asking universe, I've been a good boy, reward me. You're not asking that. You're not even thinking that way. Universe comes and rewards you in ways you cannot even imagine. This is the right mindset and energy around money, because you are doing things and you're creating a win-win situation, yet at the same time, you're creating a karmic debt in your favor that the universe will come and help and support you.
Right. I gotcha. So tell me, if you're one of these people that has these negative thoughts about money and about your self-worth and all of those things, how can you stop that? And what can you do if you're listening to this and you're one of those people and you recognize it? What can you do right now, starting today, to change that stuff?
Okay, that's a wonderful question. So there's two things to this. There's the first part is becoming aware of how you truly feel about money. The average person, especially the people who come to me, they're the kind of people who've read the books like Think and Grow Rich, or Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, and so forth, or The Science of Getting Rich. People have read these books and are thinking, oh, you know what? I now think positively about money. The problem is you don't think positively about money subconsciously. Consciously you may do, but subconsciously you don't. So what I'm going to ask you to do is first of all, do this exercise so you become aware of how you truly, deeply feel about money. And with this exercise, all you're doing is putting a timer on your phone for 5 minutes, getting pen and paper out, and then without lifting your pen for the next 5 minutes, you're writing, okay, I think money is, and just carry on and start writing. And the idea is not to stop. What you find is your conscious mind will run out of ideas, which is great, which is exactly what you want. Because we want initially the first few lines to be money is amazing, money means freedom, money means blah, blah, blah. But once your conscious mind runs out of ideas, you cannot pick up the pen. You have to just carry on writing, even if it's rubbish. When you carry on writing, what happens is your subconscious mind kicks in from about 3 minutes onwards. And the next lot of things you get is what you truly feel about it. Money does actually should turn up on time. I wonder if money will do this, and I wonder if money is. And I had the time when money never turned up, or money actually caused me pain. You have all these things that come onto paper. You realize, I'm always angry with money. I'm always worried about money. I'm always frustrated about money. I'm always thinking about my bills when I think about money. The average person who hasn't trained themselves into having a positive mindset about money usually thinks about the bills and outgoings in a negative way multiple times a day. Multiple times a day. It's only when you retrain your mind do you start thinking, oh, money means happiness. And you actually do mean that from a subconscious level. Now, that's the first step. Step number 2 is which I love, and that's also called creating a money avatar. The best way to start thinking about money in a positive manner is to treat it like your best friend. So there's an exercise that I take people through, and it's done through one of my workshops. And if you listen to this and the workshop is no longer available, listen to it. I've also explained this process on my Money Mindset with Gull podcast as well. But you want to create a money avatar. Now, when you do the money avatar, the quick way for that is pick up. Imagine having a best friend. And you can't pick a family member. You cannot pick a celebrity. You may get inspiration from people, but you cannot pick a celebrity or a family member. But you create this ideal friend of yours, and you get very clear as to because it's my avatar, you have to be very clear. Eye color, hair color, age, ethnicity, background, education, everything. So get very, very clear as to who this person is. Give them a name. Like my money avatar is called Michelle. And then have this image of this person in your mind. This is now your money avatar, your best friend. And now the step 3 is where people think, oh, this is a bit woo-woo, but bear with me. I promise you if you do this exercise, it will pay you dividends upon dividends. So exercise 3 is, if you are not used to doing meditation, learn, okay? But the best thing is to get into a meditative state, and which for me is when you are lowering your brainwaves to alpha brainwaves. We're at the moment talking, so we're in beta, mid beta to low beta. So you want to be in alpha brainwaves. So there's plenty of YouTube videos out there which lower your brainwaves and get you into meditative states. Listen to one of those, get into a meditative state, and now go and converse with your money avatar that you just created in your mind. Do this repeatedly every single day. And what you find is you'll catch yourself saying negative things or feeling negative things towards money. And you'll be like, no, Michelle isn't like this. No, Michelle isn't like that. Right? And so you have this idea, it's like, okay, I'm thinking negatively about money again. You catch yourself. And because now money is your friend and you're having this regular dialogue in the evening or morning with your money avatar, you will start thinking positively about money from the inside out without actually doing it artificially. It will be coming from your heart. Money's my friend. Money doesn't talk like that. Money doesn't do that. I promise you, number one divorce factor is, the number one thing, divorce factor is money. People blame money for the divorce when, like, you're the ones who cannot communicate with each other. Why blame money for it? Right? So you start defending money and start seeing it as a friend rather than a foe. And that's one of the quickest and easiest way to stop thinking negatively about money.
Right. Okay. Well, great. Listen, Gull, they can contact you. All of our listeners can contact you at your website, gullcon.com. Also, your podcast. Tell us about your podcast, the type of podcast you do, and do you have a website for that as well?
So yeah, I think the 2 places they can come and find me on is my podcast, which is Money Mindset, which is literally the same thing, Money Mindset with Gull Khan, and we're one of the top ranking podcasts on money mindset. And more than this website, goalcon.com, that's my blog. That's where you can find all the blogs I've written. But I also have lots of training, and there's free trainings on my other website, which is www.moneymindsetmakeoverworkshop.com. And that's probably the best site for if they want additional, mini trainings or so forth.
Okay, so Money Mindset Makeover.
Makeoverworkshop.com.
Okay, Money Mindset Makeover Workshop.
Yeah.
Okay.
.com.
All right, great. So we'll have that in the show notes so you guys can go check that out. But I really enjoyed being on your podcast. I thought it was great. And this is some fantastic information. This is something, we don't think about as investors a whole lot. Like I said, we're focused on the technical aspects of how to fill out the paperwork to close a subject to deal or a lease option deal or whatever. But if you really want to be successful, it goes a lot deeper than that. You have to think about some other things. For sure.
Of course, it is. And I say that if you pick up any book on business, they will tell you this as well. Success in business is 80% mindset and only 20% strategy. Mm-hmm. So 80% of the time, if you are successful, it depends on your mindset. I actually listened to something recently about Elon Musk, and he's one of my favorite entrepreneurs, by the way. I think he's quirky and I think he's wonderful. And when there was asked, what about plan B, or how do you deal with setbacks? He said, I don't have a plan B. I'm either going to do or die, and I go for it. And it's that kind of determination that you need, and that conviction in yourself. You're going to make it work. It doesn't matter what. But before you can have that conviction, you need to make sure that you're not without that internal work, without doing work on your money mindset, it's literally like a boulder climbing up a mountain. And every time you rest, you fall back down. Mm-hmm. And so you have to climb up the mountain again. This is why people, and entrepreneurs especially, go through these peaks and troughs. There's feast and famine cycles, mm-hmm. because they go up and they come back down, go up, come back down. Right. So have that conviction and go for your dreams, but work on your mindset first.
Right. I agree. Okay, Gull, thanks so much for being here with us and sharing that with us today. We'll have the links to your website and your podcast in the show notes. Everybody come check you out. It was a great, great podcast. I enjoyed it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, guys, that is it for this episode of the Sub2Deals show. Don't forget to check out Gull at her website and check out her workshop. If she's got that going on right now, I'm sure she'll be doing another one in the future. But a lot of good information that'll really help change your life. So go check that out. We'll see you guys next time. So until then, talk to some sellers, buy some houses.